Hey lovelies, it's Kate. Welcome back to another speed build. In this speed build, I'm building a mansion, surprise, surprise, on a 64 by 64 lot in Delta Valley. I called this build the summer residence because, I don't know, it just reminded me of summer. I just started to build. It has a slight Mediterranean influence, just a little bit. I didn't want to build another Mediterranean mansion just yet, so I tried to stay away from this kind of style, but some elements remind me of this style. So I used the Get Famous arches, I used many columns. These are from Discover University. Ever since that pack has come out, I've been using these columns. I really like them. I noticed this when I was building this. I talked a lot about the windows actually, but to be honest, I've mostly used the columns. Like, this is probably the most used item of this pack for me. So I wanted to build this on multiple levels. And what I did was I just created a hole in the ground, and you have two options for this. You can either just use the terrain tools and you just make a hole and then you flatten the terrain, or you just approach it the way I did. You just build a room, then you click on the room and then you push the room into the ground using the little arrow basically. And then when you have found the correct spot, you just use the terrain tools, the flatten terrain tool, to expand this area at the bottom. And this is what I did. So with a house like this, your house or part of the house sits in a hole, and then this room of course has a ceiling, and the ceiling is on the same level as your regular terrain height. I mean, you have a regular normal ground level when you load into a lot before manipulating the terrain, and you want your floor or your ceiling, whatever you want to call it in this case, sit on the correct level. And you can do it in two different ways as I've just explained, but I can totally recommend to use this method. Before that, I think I've mostly just used the terrain tools to create a hole, and then I was figuring out if it was too deep or not. But this is super easy because you can just move your room up and down until you find the correct spot, and this way your other levels really sit on the terrain, on the regular terrain, on the correct level, and then the rest of the house is in the hole. Otherwise, if you don't find that sweet spot, it's almost like your house is floating a little bit, and this can look weird. You can conceal this a little bit by using an exterior trim, the thick one especially, but this is just, it's a very simple method. So here I'm just working out the general shape of the house. I've started at the bottom, as I've explained to you guys. I knew that I would like to have some stairs on the left side. I wanted to have this tower. I wanted the bottom of the tower to also sit in this hole, and then the part on the left side, this just sits on the regular terrain. And what I wanted to do is I didn't want to have many steep slopes, only in the back, and as always I used the flat base game bush to just hide the steep slope, because you guys know that I love to do that. But in this case I also wanted to include many very smooth slopes, so I used the smooth terrain tool to just smooth it out. So I have some really beautiful smooth transitions. So when you look on the left side, for example, there's some very smooth areas that I'm going to turn into flower beds. There are generally many flower beds. I used this little base game bush here, and then I used some really warm toned terrain paint. It almost looks like something that you would expect to see in Oasis Springs, for example. I love this color contrast between this red or orange color and then you have this very bright saturated green. I love that. I also really enjoyed this about Oasis Springs, and I wanted to create this beautiful contrast on this lot. Here, for example, I'm using the flat base game bush to just hide the steep slope a little bit. I included a bridge on the left side. This was super easy because this part of the house, as I've explained, is technically already floating, even though it's not visible, because the house, the true bottom of the house, sits in the hole at the bottom. So this area is technically already floating, so I just had to attach a floor piece, and then I already had a bridge. I just lowered the terrain underneath the bridge. This is just for decorative purposes. It's not really a proper bridge. I don't know, it just looks fancy, and it leads to a little sunroom where Sims can just hang out. But let's talk about the pool. I'm about to start building the pool here, so I want to start to talk about the pool now. So what I did was I created a round shaped pool. And at first I used terrain paint, and I did that to just create some type of stencil or a guideline. It's kind of hard to nail a beautiful round shape sometimes, especially if you want to have this type of round shape, not just a circle, but even then it can be tricky. So for stuff like this, I sometimes like to lay out a little guideline. So I use the terrain tools to lay out the shape of the pool, and after I did that, I used the Spade Stony Goodness slab. It's just a stone slab or something. It's supposed to be placed on top of a fountain on the water surface, so it looks like one of these stones where you could walk over a body of water technically, but it's just for decorative purposes. It doesn't really work. Your Sims cannot use it to walk over water or something. So I just used this object to lay out the round shape. So I used the terrain paint as a guideline, as I said, and then I placed it all around the edge of the terrain paint. I sized it up a little bit because its original size is a bit small, but you want to make sure that you don't size up an object too much if you want to create a round shape, because then of course it's much easier to have some smooth round curves, and then it can look a bit bulky. So it's always better to not size an object up too much for something like that. And after that, I built the actual pool, and what you do in this case is you just build the pool inside the area that you've laid out, and sometimes in some cases a little part of the pool, like a little corner, a little edge, might be visible next to the Stony Goodness slab. So in this case you just move it a little bit and you adjust it, but you basically just hide the edges of the pool underneath the object that you use to lay out the round shape. Then I also used some other terrain paint just so I have just a little walkway around the pool, and then I used my beloved base game debug brick. This object is infamous on this channel. It's just a bag of flour, and I like to call it the base game debug brick because it looks like a brick. It's a base game debug object, as the name already suggests. You just have to use the bb.show hidden object sheet, and then you filter for base game, and then you just hunt it down because there is a lot of stuff. So you have to look very hard for it. It comes in two colors, in white and a like this brownish beige, I don't know what it is, and then you can just use it to create some flower beds, some curved paths, all kinds of different things. And in this case I just wanted to have a little kind of edge around the pool, and then I realized that the sim has to be able to get into the pool. Big brain time. So I had to remove 2 of the base game debug bricks and 1 or 2 Stony Goodness slabs. You probably already saw that in the very beginning of the video where the sim was hanging out inside the pool. So I removed these objects in the back so it's not that visible. It's very sad that it's not working this way, but it's just a little gap so your sim is actually able to enter the pool, so it's fully functional and it still looks pretty cool in my opinion. And the round shape just adds so much to this house. I don't know, it's such a very typical beautiful round shaped pool that you see in some California mansions or something, and I thought it would be just a fun addition. This house is actually pretty big. You guys know that I always tell you it looks big, but it's not that bad. But in this case it is kind of bad. So this is a 64 by 64 lot, and I included 9 bedrooms, which is crazy to me. So in my last build there were only 2 bedrooms, and the build looked super big, but actually on the inside it really wasn't. I mean, I could have probably utilized some of the space for more bedrooms, but on the top floor there was only space for 2 bedrooms, so the build looked big, but it wasn't really that big because it was a 50 by 50 lot, and I used a lot of the lot just for landscaping where I created this river, so there wasn't that much space left for the house, even though it looks really big and majestic, but it's not that big. So some of you asked me, why are there only 2 bedrooms? And here I made up for that, and I included 9 bedrooms and 5 bathrooms. I probably should have squeezed in more bathrooms, but I had no idea where or how, so there are 9 bedrooms in total, which is crazy. So there is a lot of space. Even if you max out the household size, every sim has their own bedroom, and you even have a spare bedroom for a butler, for example, or if someone is staying over at your sims. I don't know. So 9 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, a lot of space. There is a kind of greenhouse at the bottom where I just included planting pots, and there's just a lot of stuff for your sims to explore. It's very majestic, luxurious. It's a proper mansion. Landscaping was such a big part of this build for me, and I feel like this is the true eye catcher. I mean, kind of probably when you look at the thumbnail, for example, the round pool is probably super eye catching. But then the landscaping as a whole is what really makes this build, in my opinion. I mean, the house itself, the build looks also fun, but the landscaping is what makes it super interesting for me. I really enjoy the smoothed out slopes. I really like the hidden slopes. And then we have this other section at the top where I again use the warm tone terrain paint, and this area is actually going to be a place where sims can chill in the sun, and they will be able to sunbathe there because I included some lounging chairs. So I don't know, I just love these little details about this build. And the fun thing is, as I've just told you, this has 9 bedrooms. I wanted to build something that's smaller. And now you might ask yourself, why did she build on a 64x64 lot then? Well, I wanted to use a lot of the space for landscaping, which I did, but then the build itself turned out to be super huge as well. And I wanted to build something more compact because I wanted to squeeze in more builds before Christmas. I was running out of time. I'm super stressed. I have my annual Christmas meltdown. No, but I'm always super stressed a couple of days before Christmas. And then I figured it would be very smart to build something that's small, still looks fun, and is a lot of fun. And then this happened, and then I thought, oh my god, you now have to furnish 9 bedrooms. What have you done to yourself? But I mean, it turned out fine, and it's a proper mansion. As I said, I really like that it looks big, and it is big, so it's not like, I don't know, a letdown when you see a big mansion and you want all your sims to move in, but then there's isn't enough space. This is not the case here, so I'm really pleased with how it turned out, and at the same time I have no idea why I did this to myself a couple of days before Christmas. Talking about Christmas, my lovely people, it's finally time to announce the winner of the giveaway. I originally announced this giveaway in my Christmas Village speed build, and this is a giveaway for 50k subs. I also wanted to host a shell challenge for 50k subs, but we are going to postpone this until early 2020 because I'm going to wait until Gallery finally comes to console, including cross-platform support. So I really want to have a shell challenge where everyone can participate, but I wanted to have a little giveaway for an expansion pack of your choice, just to give a little something back. 2019 has been such a great year, and I owe all of this to you guys. Thank you so much for your ongoing support, and I have no words. This year has been insane. I mean, when I think where 2018 ended, and I just started YouTube in August 2018, and now I'm here with you guys. I have this amazing community. I enjoy interacting with you guys so much, and I don't know, I just love that 2019 is ending this way. I'm ending this year with a full heart, and I'm so grateful, and I cannot wait what 2020 is going to happen. Like, I have no idea what the next year is going to offer, but yeah. So the winner of the giveaway is Aaron Wilson, and I asked you guys to write giveaway, and then I wanted to know what is your favorite part about Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or Yule, whatever you're celebrating, or if you're not celebrating at all, what is your favorite part about this time of the year, the season, and all that. And Aaron said, my favorite part of this time of year is decorating my mom's homemade Christmas cookies with my sister, which we've done every year as long as I can remember. It doesn't matter that we are in our 30s. I'm pretty sure we have more fun decorating them than her 6-year-old daughter does, and this is just so wonderful. I mean, this is also such a dear memory for me, making cookies with my mom, and I don't know, it's just so wonderful. it's just part of Christmas. Thank you so much to everyone who participated in this giveaway. If you haven't won, don't be sad, because there will be many more on this channel. Congratulations to Aaron Wilson, and thank you so much to all of you who shared their Christmas stories. I didn't have the proper time to react to all of them already because the last weeks have been crazy, but I'm going to reply to all of you. I'm just sorry, I don't know, I'm so behind on comments and everything, but thank you so much for all of you for sharing your Christmas traditions and generally your holiday traditions. And yeah, congrats to Aaron. Please contact me on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or email. Just contact me, Aaron, and then I can give you a key for an expansion pack of your choice. And here I'm working on the interior. So the interior is also, I don't know, just kind of reminds me a little bit of something that's Mediterranean or tropical. I used a combination of dark colors and a lot of white. I just love this fireplace. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this before, but this Cats and Dogs fireplace is the best fireplace in this game. Fight me. No, for real, I just love this fireplace so much. I just love this kind of white furniture and interior design. I just love this style so much. I mean, I'm in an old house group on Facebook. I've talked about this before. People are really offended there when you use white paint to paint over original old woodwork. So when you have like a fireplace mantle or just something, stairs, anything, and then you just use white paint, it's just horrible for them because they really love it when you just have, I don't know, so it looks original and historically accurate and all that. And I understand that, but I always have to chuckle because I think, oh my god, I don't think that I could hold myself back if I had a bucket of white paint and a fireplace like this. I don't know, just love this style, I have to admit it. Then some gray walls, white kitchen, granite kitchen counters, just everything these people hate, but I can't help it. I love it. But also when I look at these very old homes and they look so original, they don't change much and all that, I also really love that. I appreciate that. It just looks amazing. I just think it would be too dark for me personally, but I really like that. And I totally understand that people are offended when the look of a house and the whole vibe has changed so much, so it looks just like another cookie cutter interior kind of. So I understand that. I totally understand where they're coming from, but give me a paint bucket and an old fireplace mantle and nothing can stop me probably. So once again, I decided to have an open kitchen in the center. When you enter the house, you have this area here, just a hallway, and you have the stairs leading up and also down. So this area took up a big chunk of the house. The floor plan is just dominating the floor plan kind of. Still, there was enough space to include 9 bedrooms, which is mind-boggling. When I look at the huge hallway in the front, I included an open kitchen, as you just saw, a big living room area including a TV, and then also another smaller living room area. And this here is one of the bedrooms. I didn't include the footage of other bedrooms because this would have been so long to show off all 9 bedrooms, but of course this is fully furnished. Also, I wanted to give you an update about my hairdresser's appointment because in my last video I talked about going to the hairdressers finally. So I decided to have some type of ombre or something. So the top is really dark, like a really dark brown, almost black, and then the rest of my hair is like a dark brown but lighter, so it's a very slight ombre. And I plan to go back in, I don't know, January, February, I don't know, at some point, to just have the ends a little bit lighter, so it's super dark at the top, then in the middle it's kind of like a normal dark brown, like, so you cannot mistake it for black. So I have like a nice gradient, so it's really visible, and then a bit lighter in the ends. And I'm so glad that I'm finally there because it took me so long to just kind of have them lighter after dyeing them black for so long. So yeah, and this is it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Happy holidays to all of you. I hope that you will have a great time, great Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Yule, whatever you're celebrating. I hope you have a perfect time with your family and friends. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope I see you in the next video. Bye bye.